The inability to run the football and the unwillingness to stop the run is the reason why the Dallas Cowboys suffered their loss.
Well, one team had dogs and another team didn't.
Another team had puppies.
Yeah, when Rico Dotto tells you, buckle up, you know what that's like? That's 12 o'clock, y'all been at recess, y'all was playing football, somebody got tackled too hard, and dude was like, hey, bro, when we get off this bus, it's me and you. And when Rico Dotto walked into the stadium, he was playing that Knuck If You Buck. He was like, we knucking and bucking and ready to fight. They didn't have the right music on. Right? And the way that they approached the game was physicality. You remember what Jerry said? Cam just talked about what Jerry said. We got to stop the run. You ain't stop it yet. Rico Dotto still running. And they're going to live off of that Green Bay.
Cowboys Nation, I hope you're ready for this one. Because today we're not talking about rumors or speculation. We're talking about redemption. We're talking about one of the most inspiring comeback stories this locker room has seen in years. His name is Demarvion Overshown, and according to multiple reports and confirmations straight from DallasCowboys.com, the man they call Agent Zero is officially on his way back to the field. And not just back, ahead of schedule, stronger than ever, and hungrier than the day he got drafted. Let's rewind the clock for a second. It was supposed to be his breakout year in 2024. Fans were buzzing about him. Coaches couldn't stop talking about his speed, his instincts, his leadership. The preseason was electric, Overshown flying all over the field, blowing up screens, reading plays before they even developed, showing flashes of what could be one of the next great linebackers in Dallas Cowboys history. And then, just like that, everything stopped. A torn ACL, a cruel twist of fate. Not the first one either, the second of his young career. One in each knee. That would have broken most players, but not this kid. Not Demarvion Overshown. Because from the very start of his recovery, Overshown wasn't talking about if he'd come back. He was talking about when. He said he'd be back before Thanksgiving. And now, here we are, halfway through October, and Brian Schottenheimer himself is confirming it. Week 8. That's when his 21-day practice window opens. That's when Agent Zero officially starts his countdown to game day. The staff says all signs are pointing up, that his recovery is ahead of schedule, and his reviews from medical and performance coaches have been phenomenal. That's not just good news, that's game-changing news for this Dallas defense. Let's not sugarcoat it. This defense has struggled to find identity since Micah Parsons left for Green Bay. We've seen flashes from James Houston, flashes from Kenny Clark and Osa Odigizwa, but consistency, leadership, that spark that turns a group of players into a unit, that's been missing. And now here comes Overshown, the emotional heartbeat of this defense, the vocal firebrand who brings energy and swagger back to the middle of the field. This isn't just another player returning from injury. This is a cultural moment for Dallas. Overshown isn't your typical linebacker. He's a hybrid weapon, the modern NFL prototype. 6'4", freakishly fast, instinctive, versatile enough to blitz off the edge or drop deep in coverage. And that's exactly what Brian Schottenheimer and defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus have been missing. A linebacker who can erase mistakes and set the tone physically and emotionally. When Overshown got drafted out of Texas, he wasn't just bringing athleticism, he was bringing attitude. They call him Agent Zero for a reason. He said it himself. When I put that O on, it's like Superman putting on his cape. That's not a quote for the cameras. That's who he is. He's a spark plug, the guy who yells before the snap, who talks trash after a stop, who hypes up the sideline when the energy dips. He's the kind of player who changes the temperature of the entire stadium the second he makes contact. And that's what Dallas needs right now. Energy, passion, leadership. This team is good, but it's missing that raw emotional edge that made the old Cowboys defenses so dangerous. Think back to the days of DeMarcus Ware, Sean Lee, and Jalen Smith before the injuries. Those guys didn't just play football, they lived it. Overshown has that DNA. And here's the best part. He's coming back with perspective. You see, when you've torn both ACLs before your third full season, you learn something about yourself. You learn how to fight through pain, how to trust the process, how to stay patient when the world moves on without you. Overshown's been through that twice. That's not just a comeback story. That's character forged under pressure. And that's what makes his return so powerful. Because this time, he's not just returning to play, he's returning to lead. Now let's talk about timing. Week 8. That's when his practice window opens, and according to Schottenheimer, they're being smart. They're not rushing it. They're factoring in the upcoming bye week, the heavy schedule with 3 games in 12 days, and how to gradually work him into the rotation. That's veteran-level management for a young player, and it's perfect. It gives him time to get reps, shake off rust, and build rhythm right as the Cowboys enter the toughest stretch of the season. Imagine this scenario. Overshown returns in early November. The Cowboys are pushing toward playoff contention. The offense is humming with Dak Prescott playing his best football in years, Jake Ferguson dominating red zone mismatches, Javonte Williams pounding defenses on the ground, and George Pickens lighting up corners downfield. Meanwhile, the defense, which has shown improvement but not dominance, suddenly gets a jolt. Overshown steps in, commanding the huddle, calling plays, diagnosing runs before they even developed, showing flashes of what could be one of the next great linebackers in Dallas Cowboys history. And that's the real impact of Overshown's return. It's not just about tackles and sacks, it's about tone. When he's on the field, the Cowboys play faster, they play freer, they play with swagger. That confidence trickles down through every level of the defense, from the line to the secondary. And that's how teams find balance. That's how contenders are built. And let's not overlook how much this means to Brian Schottenheimer. This is his first full season steering the ship, and he's been methodically building a culture around accountability and consistency. Overshown is the embodiment of that vision, a player who never quits, never complains, never backs down. When Schottenheimer said all signs are pointing to the next week or so, you could hear the excitement in his voice, because he knows what's coming. He knows Overshown is the missing piece in his defensive puzzle. Statistically speaking, Dallas has been middle of the pack defensively this year, around 20th in total yards allowed, 26th in run defense, and 18th in defensive efficiency, EPA per play. But here's what those numbers don't show. They've been playing without a true field general at linebacker. Overshown changes that immediately. He's a sideline-to-sideline playmaker who can cover tight ends, track mobile quarterbacks, and disrupt passing lanes over the middle. That's where Dallas has been vulnerable all season, the middle of the field. Overshown fixes that. And if you want a comparison, think of what Fred Warner is to San Francisco. That's the kind of impact Overshown can bring. Not just stats, structure. He's the communicator, the tone setter, the glue that ties the defensive line and secondary together. Every great defense has one, and now Dallas is about to get theirs. Now let's zoom out for a second. Around the league, analysts are starting to talk about the Cowboys again, not as a team with flashy offense, but as a potential complete team. When Overshown returns, this defense could quietly become one of the most improved units in football. And if that happens right as the offense continues to roll, this team becomes dangerous. Because we've already seen flashes of greatness this year. That road win against the Jets, that physical domination against the Giants, that comeback drive against the Saints. But what's been missing is the ability to consistently finish games on defense. That's what Overshown brings. The closer's mentality, the finisher's edge. You can already see the excitement brewing inside the locker room. Veterans have been hyping him up, younger players are watching his recovery videos in awe, and the coaches, especially the defensive staff, are already sketching out packages to get him involved early. Expect to see him rotated in on third downs and red zone plays initially, using his range to neutralize tight ends and running backs in coverage. Then, once his legs are fully back under him, expect him to reclaim his spot as a full-time starter before the December stretch. And here's what I love about this story. It's not just a comeback for Overshown. It's a comeback for this defense. It's a reminder that the Cowboys' best days are still ahead. That the adversity of losing Parsons, the inconsistency of early season struggles, the critics doubting this team's toughness, all of that can be erased by the heart and resilience of one player coming back to do what he was born to do. So Cowboys Nation, listen closely. When you see that number 0 take the field again, don't just see a linebacker. See a message. See a symbol of what this team stands for. Grit, determination, loyalty, and pride. Demarvion Overshown'S story is every Cowboys fan's dream. The man who refused to quit, the player who fought back twice, and the warrior who's returning right when his team needs him most. This is more than a comeback. This is the spark that could ignite a playoff run. The Cowboys' schedule gets brutal down the stretch, but with Overshown'S return, the energy in that locker room is about to skyrocket. Because when you add fire to structure, you get something dangerous. You get a Dallas Cowboys team that believes again. So here's the question I'll leave you with, Cowboys Nation. Do you believe Demarvion Overshown can be the heart of this defense again? Do you believe his comeback will redefine this team's identity? Because I do. And if you do too, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed. Because here on Cowboys Nation Report, we ride every high, we endure every low, and we celebrate every comeback like it's personal. Because this isn't just football, it's family. And the family's getting one of its warriors back. Demarvion Overshown is returning. And with him, so is the fire.